Welcome to Trends on Thursdays, where I tell you about the trends I discussed with my clients this week. This week I'll talk about too many choices, Instagram stories, AI for HR, and digital advertising. First up, choices, and in this case, too many of them. Thanks to the internet, we all have lots of choices. And sometimes as business owners, we think that the more choices we offer, the more people will spend. Well, they will definitely spend more time, partially thanks to a concept called paradox of choice, if you're a psychologist. The more choices, the more undecided we are, and it shows according to a recent study by McKinsey. People shopping for accommodations spend an average of 36 days, which is crazy, trying to find out where to stay and, I suspect, hunting for a deal. No matter what business you're in, you want to engineer the decision-making journey to not give too many options and not overwhelm your customer. Since shopping around is getting more and more popular, obviously, you also want to make sure that you build loyalty as much as possible, since that is what keeps your customers from chasing the next bargain to go elsewhere. While we're at it, 76% of people are also going to switch away from your brand after just one bad experience, even if they do consider themselves loyal. I'm clearly not the typical accommodation hunter, since, last time I booked a hotel, I was somewhere on I-10, and I think it took me about 2 miles while I was driving. I am very loyal to the Omnia Hotel brand, for example, because I've always had great experiences with all their properties. My favorite, by the way, is the Omni Dallas at Park West. Anyways, next up, Instagram stories. With 400 million users daily, Instagram stories is super hot, especially if you're into millennials and Generation Z. Well, if your brand is, you get the idea. Since stories ads are driven by the Facebook data engine, they usually are very good at figuring out who is interested in your ads, and it shows in the numbers. 66% of consumers say stories ads that they see are at least moderately likely or better to pertain to them, compared to only about 30% on Snapchat, for example. Of course, Instagram ads are also a lot cheaper to get into and target than Snapchat, making them a great bargain to at least try out. I had a client the other day that we're running some tests for, and when I say tests, I was spending like $3 a day, and he was telling me people had mentioned the ads to him. So I think that's pretty impressive for very little money. Of course, once we had the targeting down just right, we cranked up the budget, and can I just say, wow. Next up, AI is coming to recruiting and social listening. This is either scary or super cool, or perhaps both. Several AI projects are analyzing your social media posts, for example, to determine your personality traits, and it's actually pretty accurate if given enough input anyways. IBM Watson has a project going like that. As you may know, I'm a big believer in personality analysis when it comes down to hiring, not as a single indicator, but as one of the tools in the toolbox to see if the person you're hiring is a good fit for the job. Some basic personality traits like extroversion, stability, and domination can certainly tell you how a person might perform if you put them in a job, and given the cost of onboarding, even in the smallest business, hedging your bets on a new hire is always worth it. And because AI is great at analyzing big data sets, you might want to watch what you're posting on social media if you're job hunting anytime in the future. Maybe that'll make people nicer on Facebook. That actually would be kind of nice. One more, Facebook and Google are pretty much the two major players for digital advertising, and even though they're pretty much technically self-serve, it's easy to get it wrong, since the inside of the ads and analytics platforms are kind of like the cockpit of an airplane. Lots of small details can make the difference between targeting exactly who you want and targeting nobody at all. The other often overlooked part of digital advertising is the copywriting, which, by the way, has nothing to do with copyright. Copywriting is what marketing people refer to as salesmanship in writing, and it's basically the difference between a great ad or a crappy one, an awesome Facebook post or one that doesn't get any engagement at all. And as the digital ad market continues to grow by leaps and bounds, Making your ad awesome and placing it just in the right spot becomes more important by the day, of course. That's it for Trends on Thursdays this week. Please share this with someone who you think might benefit from this. Until next week, I'm Tobias Wilhelm.